Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys Tim Montes' version of Arrebato that was recorded on Minstrels. So this is kind of going to be like a bonus video, kind of applying what we've been learning. So I did two videos, which was the chord properties, which was part one. We talked about major chords, minor chords, augmented, diminished. So a lot of chord properties. We talked about chord extensions, how to add the 7, 9s, 13s, and so on. So if you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to see that first. Then I just recently did a part 2 video. The part 2 video, we took a jazz standard, Autumn Leaves, and we talked about alternate voicings, alternate scales, half whole diminished scale, whole tone scales, and we kind of explored that. Now, I thought it would be fun to kind of take this song and analyze it and start applying all these music theory concepts to a church song. So the main focus or purpose of this video, it's an analysis. So it's not a song breakdown. We're not breaking down every chord or every movement that Tim does, but we're going to start looking at his chords and seeing how music theory plays a role. We're going to name these chords. So this is going to help you analyze chords and help your music theory concepts and your ear training. It's also going to let you kind of see how I hear songs and break things down. So I think it's going to be a very beneficial video. Before we get started, I do want to point out a couple of things. One, I'm going to be talking about the concepts in music theory terms, meaning the song is in the key of G flat, but we're going to number everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I'm going to name all the sharps, the flats, the alternate notes. Another thing, because the video would be way too long if we stop on every chord, I want to share with you major and minor real quick. So we already know major, which is 1, 3, and 5. But the most popular voicings in church music that you'll hear, and you're also seeing this video, is these three options: the 1, 3, 5 add 2, 1, 3, 5 major 7, so we add the 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, we add the 9. So we have 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we can voice it any way that we want, but it's always going to be those notes, a combination of those notes. So I'll show you like the voicing, but we're not going to spell them out all of the time because they're the same notes. For the minor, goes the same thing: 1 minor third 5 7, 1 minor third 4 5 7, 1 minor third 5 7 9, 1 minor third 5 7 9 11 for the minor chords. So again, it can be a combination that you'll see of these, but it's always those notes. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We'll take it piece by piece, and we'll kind of just discuss what's going on, and hopefully this can be a benefit for you.
Aunque se levanten mil gigantes contra mí, no temeré. El enemigo no podrá tocar mi fe.
Okay, so we're gonna hear it one more time. I'm gonna call out the progression, and then we'll break it down. So that's the 1, 3, 6, 1 passing 4, 5. So one more time: 1, 3 passing to the 6, 1 passing to the 4,
El enemigo no podrá
to the 5.
tocar mi fe, porque Dios
So let's start with that. So we have our 1, the 1 add 2, and then I want to talk about this. So there's established routes in music theory. The most popular is 7-3-6. We have 3-6-2. We have 5-1-4, 2-5-1. So those are the most popular ones. And technically in music theory, I know I'm saying 7-3-6, 3-6-2, 2-5-1, but in music theory, we're also just seeing a lot of 2-5-1s, 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 depending on the key that you're in. And I explained this on the last video. We used the jazz standard Autumn Leaves to kind of go over that stuff. The reason I'm mentioning these routes is because you don't always have to complete them, or you can extend them. So you can make them shorter or extend them. So for example, to get to let's say a 2, we can do 6-2, we can do 3-6-2, 7-3-6-2. We can even add a flat 5. Flat 5, 7-3-6-2. The reason that this works is because we're following the circle of fourths. So our flat 5 as our starting point, the 7 would be the fourth of that, the 3 would be the fourth of that, the 6 would be the fourth of that, the 2 would be the fourth of that. So we're walking in fourths. You can also walk in fifths, so we can do like we can do the 6 to the 2 to the 5 to the 1 to the 4, and that would be in fifth. So 6 2 5 1 4, and then that would be our flat 7. But that you can walk down in fifths as well. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to demonstrate that. So we have our 1. Jason White did To God Be the Glory, and he did flat 5, 7, 3, 6, 2. And you can hear it. Or you can make them smaller. In this case, that's what Tim did. He just went 1, and then he just did 3 to the 6. It really depends on a couple things. It depends the context of the song. In this case, we're in the verse, so it's a little lower. Also, he doesn't have too much space to fit too much in there without sounding busy. So he opted to just use 1 passing chord to go to the foundational progression, which is 1, 6, 4, and 5. The 3 and the 1 would be passing. They're not part of the foundational progression. So hopefully that makes sense. You can use routes using the circle of fourths, circle of fifths to get to where you want. Doesn't mean you have to keep fitting it. You can simplify it like Tim did and just do 1 passing chord, 2 passing chords, or you can do a lot of times like Jason White, if you're trying to reharmonize something or have a chord for each melody note, you can do things like that. So like To God Be the Glory, and then To God, and then keep going, be the glory. So that's just an example. So let's look at our first chord. So the passing chords are normally dominant chords, which consist of 1, 3, and then the flat 7. So in this case, is our 3. Our regular chord would be 1, 3, 5, 7. But like I mentioned, a dominant chord consists that flat 7. So this is our root 1 3, or our bass 1 3 flat 7. So we can start alternating notes. So if I keep going, this is our 9. 1 3 5 flat 7. This is our 9. So the voicing that Tim is doing, he's adding a sharp 5, and he's doing a flat 9. What I'm doing with this voicing, or what I'm doing with this voicing, so I don't have it cluttered like this, I'm putting that flat sharp 5 on top. I'm even adding the 3 on the top. So then I have it like more spread out like this versus having it like this. So again, 1 3 5 7, and then our 9. But what we're doing is we're making this a dominant by adding the flat 7. We're gonna sharp the 5, flat the 9. And how I'm voicing this gets us to the 6. So there's just a minor 7. I'm adding the 4. So now we have this. After this, Tim does a passing chord to go to the 4. Like I mentioned, most passing chords are dominant chords. So for this, he just does the 1, flat 7, and 3. But to make it interesting, he does this melody line. He walks the 7, 1, 2, and he twangs the 2 to the 3. An alternative way to do this, one that I like, I heard David Jackson do this. He walks to the flat 7, and he does this chord. So instead of going, you can go. Now, this is still the chord that Tim is doing, 1, flat 7, and 3. So instead of doing 1, 3, flat 7, he moves the 3 up. You hear this in gospel a lot. You add the 6 and add the 9. And I'm twanging that note to the 6 to get that voicing. And then for the 4, he's like in a lower octave, like making it sound lower. So I like to voice it like this. I have the 1, 5, and 3 on the left hand, and then the melody on top. Makes it sound full. Can even do that. And then finally, we have a 1 over the 5, but this kind of sounds weak and like cheesy a little bit. So we're gonna add dissonance. So we have the 1, 3, 4, and then the 1, 4, 1. But essentially, it's the 1 over the 5. So 1, 4, 5, 1. It's just like a suspended chord, but I like to add that dissonance. So this is what we have so far. We have a 1, add 2. We have the 3 dominant 7, sharp 5, flat 9. To the 6 minor 7, I'm adding the 4. The 1 dominant passing to the 4. And then the 1 over the 5 with some dissonance. The reason that he voices it like the 1 over the 5, because he's using the 1 scale to create harmonies like this. These are called Diads, so 2-note harmonies. So this would be our 1 chord in the first inversion, but we take out the middle note. Then we have the 5. Second inversion, take out the middle note. The 4. Second inversion, take out the middle note, and we have And these types of dyads are really popular. We'll talk about more later on. This is the first one we're going to talk about. So these are dyads, 2-note harmonies. This is one interval that you can use. You can use it a lot, like so these are just simple dyads. So we have 1, 3 dominant 7, sharp 5 flat 9, to the 6 minor 7, add 4, 1 dominant, 4, add the 2, 1 over the 5, Diads. So let's just hear that one more time and we'll go to the next part.
Aunque se levanten mil gigantes contra mí, no temeré. El enemigo no podrá tocar mi fe, porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre.
All right, and that was just an analysis because I don't know that I didn't break it down, so I don't know, but I know those are like the notes. So let's go ahead and go to part 2.
Porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre y me hizo su hija.
Okay, now I'm gonna call it out. So let's go for it. So 7, 3, 3, 6, 7, 3, 6. So let's hear that again. All right, so 7, 3, 6, 7, 3, 6. So the verse he only did 1, 3, 6. Now he's completing that route that we talked about and doing 7, 3, 6. We talked about this too. On our previous video. So a 7 is normally a half diminished or a full diminished chord. If you're not sure what that is, look at the previous videos. I kind of go into explaining those chord properties. But in this case, to make the melody stand out, to make the voice stand out, and the playing also stand out, he does minor 7, add 9, add 11. And this chord is actually like a polychord because there's 2 chords in here, minor chord, major chord. So you can voice this using all these notes any way you want. You can do any series of arrangements. You can do dissonance. It's still the same notes. So it's a minor 7, add 9, add 11. And that's the 7 that he uses. And then he adds this. So how he's voicing it is we have on the 7th scale degree, we have 1, 5, 7, 5, 7, 9, and then we have that 5 on top. And then he adds this dissonance with the 2 and the 3 and the 7. So again, same notes. Doesn't matter how they're being used. I just wanted to point out that you can spread it out and add dissonance. So there's a different way to do it. And that's kind of what he's doing. Chord, he adds dissonance. Then he opens it up by doing a suspended 3. Since he added a chord, he made it tense. He releases the tension with the 3. So that's the 3 scale degree, but it's going to be 1, 4, and 5. And then he creates dissonance again by doing a dominant and then he resolves it by, well, actually he resolves it because it's a minor, but he's still adding dissonance. So altogether it goes. So there's a minor 7, add 4, add 9, add 11. Or that would just be our 11. So minor 7, add 9, add 11. But this is how it's being voiced to create dissonance, bringing the 9 down here. Now from here, he does the 7, 3, 6 again. So he kind of like same notes, just a different voicing, and he's twanging that 2 to the 3, and then we have on that 7, so the 3, and then we go to the 3. On this 3, this is just the 3rd scale degree. We have the 1 minor 3rd, add the 4. We don't add the 5, we leave it out, and then the 7. So just these notes, and I'm doubling up. So we have, it's the same as this chord, but we're just adding the 9 on top now. So all together, so let's try that, and then we'll keep going.
Porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre y me hizo su hija.
One more time.
Yo soy. Porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre y me hizo su.
Sorry, I messed up.
Porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre. Porque Dios me ha cambiado el nombre y me hizo su hija. Yo soy cabeza y no cola.
1 over the 3 to the 4, and then 5. So then to the 2, just like we talk about minor chords. So 1 minor 7, add 9, add 11. 1 over the 3 to that 4 that we talked about. 1 over the 5 that we talked about. So I'm just on that 5th scale degree, I'm doing 1, 4, 5, 1. And again, if you're not familiar with scale degrees and what I'm talking about, make sure to watch the chord properties video. Okay, so let's do it one more time, and then we'll move on. So we have again. To the 2, 4, to the 5. Let's go. So 1, major 7, 3 passing to the 6, 6 passing to the 2, 4, 5. So again, 1, major 7, 3, 6, 6, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so let's talk about, there's a lot of going on here, so let's talk about it. So that's the 1. So this 3 is different. So in the verse, we did dominant 7, sharp 5, flat 9. So 1, 3, sharp 5, 7, flat 9. Now for the chorus, or yeah, I think that's the chorus, yeah. We're gonna do a sharp. So instead of a flat, we're doing a sharp 9. You hear this chord a lot. minor song. So this is important to know this chord. So when you hear dominant 7, sharp 5, sharp 9, that's our sharp 5, our sharp 9. How I'm voicing it, this is really popular in gospel. You kind of walk it up. On that third scale degree, we have the 2 half step chromatic walk up to the 3. And then we have our flat 7, our sharp 9, and our sharp 5. And then we're going to the 6. On the 6, you'll notice he's moving a lot. That's really popular to do like 1 5 1 5 kind of stuff. So you'll hear probably a lot of that movement. And then we're gonna do this passing chord. So on the third scale degree, numbering that is 1 3 5. So our 6 is normally a minor, but since it's passing, I advised earlier that normally passing chords are dominant, so we're looking at it as a 1 3 5 and the flat 7, and this would be our 9. So our 9, we're gonna flat the 9. So we have 3 7 flat 9. I'm voicing it like this to get to the 2. And then from there we get to the 4. And then to the 5. I think when he's on the 4, let's see, on the 4 or 5, he does some stuff that I want to talk about. Oh, there we go. Let's see. So on the 2 or on the 5, it can play on both. And we'll talk about some. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. On the 1, he's accenting that 7. That's important because you hear that on gospel a lot. But there's nothing like really hard about it. It's just literally putting the 7, like making it stand out. We're doing that same chord, 3 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, and then you hear that kind of voicings, which we already talked about. Okay, so when we get to the 2, you can do this again on the 2 or the 5 in your playing, but you hear dissonant notes like this. They're all part of our tonic scale, so our root scale, or the key that we're in the song, and we're taking dissonant notes like the 7 and the 1, 4, 3 and the 4, 7 and 1, 3 and 4, and we're kind of doing inversions of them. So we can do any type of combination. I'll play some again. Do it slower. And you can do that to kind of walk up. Or I'm not sure how he did it, but that's the concepts. Or we could do it on the 5. Or you can go down. So however you want to like mess with it. It's also a combination of like the Diads that we talked about and doing those intervals. So it's a combination of that, like. So let's hear some of the patterns that he does. Right here. So kind of like walk up kind of thing. To the 5. So let's go back. I want to talk about that. On the 1 major 7, 4 major 7s, you can do this type of scale. So this is the block 1 2 3 5 6 7 1 2 3 5 6 7. You can do stuff on the 4. So you can mess with those kind of so if you want to kind of explore that kind of stuff. I love melodies, like even on the 7. I like kind of melodies like that. But those melodies that stand out like that is normally coming out from that type of scale. So let's go here. So this is our next verse. I like that. Okay, so let's talk about that. So we're going back to our 3 dominant 7 sharp 5 flat 9. So we're not doing this note no more. We're flat 9. So he does this movement. He does so let's hear it. So that's over the 3. Now, this reminds me of a concept. So Cory Henry does half whole diminished kind of movement by doing drop 2 diminished chords. So this over the 3. Whole. So this would be our diminished. Doing a drop 2, we take the second highest note and drop it down. So what Tim did, he was we can do kind of a Cory Henry movement. So that's just kind of a concept for you that I've talked about before. So drop to diminished chords to do kind of walk-ups. I can't do it. There we go. Or Bart Ward does these type of diminished voicings. He spreads them out. So let me remember. Okay. And then he does an inversion. So he'll normally walk up 4, walk half step down, do an inversion of that to land on the 6. Or in Tim's. He goes like this, but I'm not fluent on that, so I'm just gonna. So that's different from the one we did. We did the sharp 5 sharp 9. This is a sharp 5 flat 9 to get to the 6. And let's see what else he does. It's 2, 4, 5, 7, 3, 6. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that normally our 7 is a half diminished or full diminished. A half diminished is on the 7 would be 1 minor third, flat 5, flat 7. So there's our 7 flat 7, or 5 flat 5, our 3 that's our minor 3, and our 7 our 1. My favorite voicing of this is Mike Burrow goes. So he keeps the bass, which is our 7, scale degree, that would be the 1, that would be the 7, the flat 5, and then the minor third on top. And then Tim does a walk up. Let's see. Okay, so I remember. So kind of the same concept of, and then the Cory Henry. So that, you know, I need to get fluent on that. I need to practice too. So that type of walk up, he's doing a little different though. He's going. So he's walking from the 2 chromatically up. So on the 3rd scale degree, that would be the 2 of that scale degree. Chromatic walk up, and then a half step down over the 3. We're doing that same concept that we talked about on with Cory Henry. So, but I'm just kind of opening it more. Half step up, and then we talked about this in our last video, the whole tone scale. Oh. So we have like diminished, then we get this chord to go to diminished, which is part of that whole tone scale. The reason this is part of the whole tone scale is, so those are our 3. The 3 and the flat 5 create this tritone. This tritone are found on the 1 dominant, 1 3 5. So this 1 dominant is part of that whole tone scale, and we talked about this chord in our last video. So that's where that is coming from. That's why it works, because we're going diminished. We're pulling this out of a diminished chord, diminished, augmented from the whole tone scale. That's not our bass, but that's where it's coming from. It works because it's like a substitution. And then back to diminished to the 6. So let's hear it and put it together. So,
y desatar y declarar una palabra que cambie tu generación. Yo hoy declaro que
so 2,
lo que te robó.
4, 5, 1 major 7, sharp 3, sharp 5, sharp 9, 3 7 flat 9. Okay, so let's talk about this. Two. All right. We talked about these diads over the 5. Now on the 2, he's actually messing around with diads on a minor 6. So these are our diads on a minor scale. Just going up the scale in intervals of minor thirds. So that's how he's messing with that. Intervals of minor, well, actually minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. So he's messing with major and minor intervals, but this is all part of the minor scale of our 2 scale degree. So Joseph Pryor does this a lot. Like, how does he do? Oh, he goes. Sorry, since I'm doing an analysis, I didn't really prepare in advance. We're just kind of going through it. So I'm kind of just remembering all this stuff. So it goes. He'll do stuff like that, but there's a different type of interval. But he's using the minor scale. This is over the 6 to go to the 2. In this case, on the 2, he's using the minor scale and just doing intervals of minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, like messing with those to get that sound. I think he did something like that. Let's hear it. But that's where that's coming from. So we're going major 7, 3 dominant 7, sharp 5, sharp 9, 6 minor 7 add 9 add 11. You can even do that. You can still walk that up too, just like the 3. It's the 6 dominant 7 flat 9 to the 2. Diads in the minor scale to the 5. So let's try. same thing. Okay, the 6th switch there. So let's talk about that. So we've been mentioning the same minor chords, but this is something that is done in gospel a lot. I feel like I heard it the most from Mike Burrow, but he adds the 13th. So we have like 3 different triads here. We have the 5, we have the 1, and then like a major 2. If we kind of look at it that way, but it's just going to be our minor 1, minor 3rd, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. You can voice it however you want. Cory Henry does this. I've seen him do something like that to a passing, and I've broken this down before. So I'm going 6, minor 7, add 9, add 13. It's this chord. It's still the just like the 3. It's the dominant 7 sharp 5 sharp 9. So we have our sharp 9, and then I have it up here, but we have our sharp 5. So we're going from that. So a minor 11 add 13 to a 3 7 sharp 5 sharp 9 to the 2. So we have now you can, if you wanted to do like melodies, you can make melodies stand out by using that 13. So you can be like, you can mess with those melodies. But that's where that chord's coming from. So I think he goes to the minor first. Cool. I've been going up a lot on these notes. Oh, my bad. So I've been going up a lot, and then what did Tim do? Just to kind of give diversity on that, Jason White on that same video, To God Be the Glory, he does. So it's not the sharp 5, sharp 9 one. You can do this like when you want to do a sharp 5 flat 9. On that 3rd scale degree, you walk down the 5 chromatically to the 3. When you get to the 4, the 2 you harmonize with the 2 and walk it down to the flat 9. So like, so now you have so now you have a couple of options on that. So those diodes are important to know. I'm gonna give you some more actually. Let me see. So you can do stuff like I'm just kind of messing around, but 1, on the 2, on the 3, stuff like that. On the 4, on the 5, and yeah. So those are just an example of different diads. One more time, actually. I feel like I went too fast. So those are just some examples. So 5, 6, you hear that dissonance? So still the same chord, but sometimes like, oh, that sounds really cool. So it's just like, I'm just walking up the scale. Not dramatically, but like from the 4 of that, the minor scale. So let's hear it. Again, these are just this is just an analysis. I don't know exactly the notes. Like, I'm not trying to break it down. I'm just kind of hearing it and showing like these are the concepts that he's using. All 4, 2, 4, 5. So diminished. So instead of all those voicings we learned, we're gonna do that same chord that we did on the 6, which is dominant 7 flat 9. So we're gonna do dominant 7 flat 9. We're not gonna do the sharp 5, just that to the 6. So so 6, 7. So 6 passing to the 2, same thing. 4. Oh, so you can use that same movement I told you about Jason White on that chord as well. So it doesn't have to be the sharp 5, as long as it has a flat 9 in there. So let's try it. I'm gonna try it. And he did those diads again. So watch. So he's messing with those diads. I think that's what he did. Something like that. So let me break those chords down. So we have, again, these are just concepts. So we have the 6 with the dissonance, 4, 2. Now that's really popular. You'll hear these different diads again. So on the key that you're in, practice just doing those minor, major, third, minor, major, major, minor, minor, major. So practicing those. So on the 2, 6, 2, 6. So you'll hear that stuff a lot. So let's try it. So they switched going from this. So going to the 6, we're gonna do diminished. So we're doing that dominant 7 flat 9, but we could just go half step, do diminished to the 6, 7, and then we're gonna do that same, but in the 6 scale degree, we're gonna do the 7 sharp 5 sharp 9. So we have our 1 3 7, 1 3 7. There's our sharp 5 sharp 9. So now this is what we have. 4, 2, Diads, 4, 5, diminish, 6, Diads, and then 7, 6, 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, 2, 4, major 7, 5. Oh, we're going back to the 1. So it sounds like it's more of the same. A lot of that left hand walk up. Again, diminished to the 6. A lot of 2. Seven, 6 2. He does a lot of those a lot of he's doing a lot of like triads, minor and major. So using chord dynamics to kind of just you can also do dissonance that I've explained. So I'm messing around a lot with open, dissonant, and then major triads. Minor triads will help you kind of explore these different concepts. And And then notice a lot of like on the 5 or on the 6 or on the 1, a lot of those octave melodies. Tim is very intentional on letting you know, I want this chord to stand out. That's how I would describe him. Like subtle, if he wants it subtle. Make something stand out. Like if you wanted that to stand out. I can't do it. He's really good at those kind of things, or how he did it like earlier. He's really good at that. He did that walk down. A lot of octaves. Again. Or same stuff we talked about. So now, this is a difference from the first verse. The first verse, I haven't actually gone this far, but the first verse he just did one passing chord. Now that he already introduced everything, he has more freedom. So 1, 7, 3, 6, and you can voice it different ways. Like, it doesn't have to be. It's just the concepts that I probably would have done. There's so many ways. Like I like this 7. I'll show it to you. So we have the 7 scale degree. We have our minor third. We have our flat 5, our 7. We have the 9, and then we have the 11. To this one. So we've been doing we have our dominant 7, we have our flat 9. There's our 3, but it's up here. But we also have a flat 5 and a sharp 5 in one chord, and then we have our 3 on top. So bar or he goes down like that. Mike Burrell, he just uses it. Like, you probably heard this chord a lot, but that's the chord. I need to get used to that on this key. So you can mess around with stuff, but he's doing the 7, 3, 6. But that chord was unique on the 3. So again, we've explored the sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 5, sharp 9. This one is sharp 5, flat. It's a flat 5 and a sharp 5 both together, and we still have our 7 and our flat 9. And And then the other one, it was our half diminished, but they added the 9 and the 11 on top. When I say they, I mean Cory Henry. So let's see. That's probably one of my favorite chord combinations. Trying to think what else I can kind of show you. If you have a bass player, I like these voicings. So it's a major 7, but I'm adding the flat 5. So this is my bass. 3, 5, 7, 9. We have the 3 flat 5. I twang the 6 to the 7 and the 3 on top. 7. So we have this is more like this is our dominant 3 7 flat 7, but I'm adding the sharp 5 and then the flat 9 again. Same stuff. That might look like complicated, but it's the same. We're altering the same notes. It's normally the 5s, the 9s, and the 13s. So in this case, we have the 1 3 7. We have a flat 9. We have a sharp 5. We have our minor 3rd. We have our 5. We have our 7. We have our 1 and our minor 3rd. To our 3, which is the 7, the 3, the sharp 5, the 7, flat 9. Again, you're going to see the same notes. 3 and then the 7. So again, there's our minor, same thing. 3, 7, 9, and then we're just twanging the 7, 9, 11. So that's why I kind of wanted to point that out. Like a lot of times when we're altering stuff in church music, it's gonna come down to like the 5, the 7, the 9, kind of, and the 3rd, kind of manipulating things. Let's see. I think that's it.
Porque Dios me hizo su hija y con los hijos de Dios nadie se mete. Hoy me apodero de lo que a mí me pertenece. Lo que me has quitado me lo devolverás con creces. Porque Dios me hizo su hija y con los hijos de Dios nadie se mete.
Okay, so that's Arrebato by Montes. So I hope I explained the concepts well. If this is something that you liked, I can do another analysis. Or if it's something that you really like, we can hop on a live and we can keep discussing some of these concepts. But I hope this was beneficial. It was my first time doing an analysis video. So I hope it felt organized and you learned a lot from these concepts. I know music theory can be overwhelming, but I don't want to discourage you. It takes practice, but it's going to open up a lot of possibilities, a lot of routes for you, and it's going to make playing a lot of fun. So again, I hope that this video is beneficial, and I'll see you guys in the next video.